The restaurant was the kind of place where influence and power dined in silence, broken only by the clink of wine glasses and the occasional whispered deal. Velvet booths, dim lighting, servers in starched uniforms. It wasn't a place where people asked questions, they assumed. Ayana moved between tables with grace, her posture upright, her face calm. She was in her mid-20s, her tightly coiled hair pulled back, eyes observant. She'd been working there for over 3 years, not because she had to, but because it paid well enough to support her education. What most customers didn't know was that when her shift ended, she'd head straight to the university library to work on her graduate thesis in comparative linguistics. At table 17 sat Mitchell Crane, the CEO of a booming tech startup, surrounded by 3 of his executives. He was known for being brilliant and insufferably smug. The table was already on their 2nd bottle of imported wine, and their laughter had started to turn sharp. As Ayana approached with their entrees, Mitchell narrowed his eyes slightly, smirking. "You're new here, huh?" She responded, polite but unshaken. "No, sir. I've been here a few years." He chuckled. "So you must know your wines by now, yeah?" "Yes," she said simply. "Would you like a recommendation?" One of the men leaned over, whispering loud enough for Ayana to hear, "Bet she's saving for acting school or something." The others laughed. Mitchell waved a hand. "Don't be rude," he said mockingly. "She might be in law school." He turned back to her. "So what are you studying, if anything?" Ayana kept her tone level. "I study languages." "Languages?" Mitchell raised an eyebrow. "That's useful, I guess." Then he noticed the small leather notebook tucked into her apron pocket. It was open to a page filled with neat handwriting in Arabic. "Wait, is that Arabic?" he asked, peering closer. "Yes," Ayana replied. "Classical Arabic." Mitchell gave a short laugh. "Oh, really? Translate this, then." He scrolled through his phone and pulled up an email, holding it out for her like a challenge. "If you're so smart, read what this says." The others chuckled, expecting her to fold, but Ayana calmly took the phone, glanced at the screen, and began translating out loud. Not only did she read the message fluently, she explained the subtle cultural nuance in the investor's tone, how the phrasing was polite but firm, indicating impatience over a missed financial deadline. When she handed the phone back, Mitchell's face had changed. His smirk faded. He looked at his colleagues, then back at her. "You understood all of that?" he asked, clearly stunned. Ayana gave a small nod. "Yes, and your reply should be sent within the next 24 hours if you don't want to lose credibility." The table went silent, the laughter gone, the mockery dead. Ayana turned and walked away, not out of pride, but because she had other tables waiting, and she didn't need to explain herself to men who had already underestimated her. The moment didn't just stay at that corner table, it grew legs and ran. That night, one of the junior executives at the table, Ethan, posted a vague but powerful message in a private tech Slack group. "Today, I saw a waitress check a billionaire CEO with perfect Arabic and absolute grace. Never seen Mitchell that quiet." Within hours, someone else who had witnessed the incident from a nearby table posted on X, formerly Twitter, describing the scene in detail. A black waitress just corrected a CEO in fluent classical Arabic while he tried to mock her. You could have heard a pin drop after she read that email. The internet took it from there. The story went viral. People started calling her the linguist waitress and Queen of Composure. But more importantly, they began to dig into who Ayana really was. Online researchers discovered her published academic work, papers in university journals, one of them co-authored with a well-known professor on North African dialects. They found her modest blog on language preservation and her volunteer work teaching immigrant children English. She wasn't a mystery. She just wasn't loud. And then came the offers. 3 different universities reached out to her within 2 days. One offered her a full graduate scholarship. Another invited her to speak at a linguistics symposium. A well-known translation startup wanted to recruit her for a leadership role. Ayana, surprised by the attention, accepted the scholarship and quietly resigned from the restaurant. She didn't do interviews. She didn't capitalize on the virality. She just kept moving forward, same as always, graceful, focused, grounded. Mitchell Crane. His board noticed the story too, not just for the embarrassment, but because Ayana had accurately interpreted a critical investor message he had failed to understand. Investors began asking questions. His arrogance now looked like incompetence. He wasn't fired, but for the first time in a long time, he was humbled. 1 month later, Ayana stood in a packed university lecture hall, not as a server, but as a keynote speaker. She wore the same neat black blazer she had worn the day of the incident, not as a reminder of the insult, but of the moment she reminded the world of her worth. She looked out at the audience and said, "You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. Sometimes fluency speaks louder than volume." The room gave her a standing ovation. And Mitchell? He stayed quiet, just like that day.